Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone who to rule and teach well. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, peace and blessings, salutations as always to sincere Akim, pushing this gospel to the four corners of the earth, laboring in this truth in all diligence, righteousness, and sincerity, keeping the faith and testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai, and to the fusion Siakwa after listen and learn as well. To you I say, Shalom. So it's your brother Azariah back in the news, and these markets worldwide are crashing. All right, just went into it yesterday in the news and prophecy that the price of silver, is soon to reach an all-time high. And if you look at the price of precious metals, that's a clear indicator that a financial collapse is on the way. And the fact that you now have silver approaching $100 per ounce. All right, gold is at an all-time high, damn near $5,000 an ounce. All right, that shows you that the demand for these precious metals are super high, meaning that the investors, all right, world governments, that they're preparing for a financial collapse for the stocks to go under. Okay, you have Japan selling off U.S. Treasury bonds, which that's been happening for some years now, but it's been accelerated now at the start of this year. Okay, you have many other nations that hold U.S. bonds that they're selling it off. Okay, and ultimately, what's going to come from this is the elites, which they're meeting at Davos right now. But the elites, they're about to usher in this great reset, man. Okay, the banks are going to go under. People are going to lose their 401k. They're going to lose their retirement, their pension. All of that stuff is about to go, man. All right. And this new system, when it comes back up and running, you're going to have to tap into the digital ID. You're going to have to tap into the biometrics. And ultimately, you're going to have to get the chip, all right, which is the MOTB. All right. So we're going to check out this video right here from Dabu. Something big is happening in the global markets.
This is Dabu 7, and today it looks like markets are collapsing around the globe. And we can see gold and silver kind of escaping this. They are the ones exploding in the midst of this. And this is all tied into Donald Trump showing up in Davos and him wheeling out these tariffs on everyone, left and right, and the markets have reacted big time. Some of the headlines here saying everything is crashing as Trump arrives in Davos. You have the Japan market that is in meltdown. The bond market itself is in meltdown. We've been watching these things because everything is lining up for a global economic reset, which is definitely going to affect the U.S. and the U.S. dollar and the U.S. economy. But it looks like this whole plan is to have them all kind of go like dominoes, where the whole thing resets. And when it does, it's going to be onto a new digital type of system. That's the whole reason for the move. We've been waiting for this for some time. A reason, a catalyst to push the markets over the edge.
Quick to stop it, that's part of the reason why these devils, they're jumping off all these wars all over the place, man, because why? They want to destabilize the planet. They want to destabilize the trading markets, they want to destabilize, local currencies, and ultimately they want to destabilize the dollar. All right. Why do you think so many businesses in America are closing up shop? Why do you think so many people are losing jobs? All right. That's because the faith in the U.S. dollar, the faith in the stock market is waning. All right. Because those at the top of these big corporations, they know. All right. They've been knowing what's coming for years now. All right. So they've been setting themselves up, buying up precious metals, gold and silver, to hedge against this collapse, this inevitable collapse that's about to happen. All right. The only people that don't know are the low-level peon people of America, Babylon the Great. But all around the world, everybody knows, man. Okay, everybody knows that this new system is coming. All right, and with this, it's going to come a lot of chaos, a lot of pain. All right, and that's why the National Guard is being deployed in these different states, because they know that once the banks shut down and people can't have access to their money, They know that it's going to be mass crime. They know it's going to be looting. It's going to be a lot of grapes going on. It's going to be a lot of unalivings happening. You see? So they already got the National Guard set up. And that's why they're going to institute the Insurrection Act. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're going to declare martial law, because this place, America Babylon the Great, is about to be a mess. All right, you're about to be having crime all over the place like you've never seen before once these devils pull the plug on this system. All right? So this thing is about to go down, man. This thing is about to happen.
JGB imploding, gold soaring, everything getting crushed in the markets, everyone tied in with 401k. And again, another headline here saying that U.S. stocks tumble as the Trump tariff threat against Europe and its allies sparks renewed interest in trade war fears. So, a bloodbath out there is what the other headlines are saying. There's no winners in trade wars. The IMF warning of a stock market crash through and through, across the board, stemming from this Greenland thing. Really Trump's actions of thinking he can just go in and do whatever he wants, and everyone else is not having this. Well, they can fight back and respond with their markets, and they are. Again, this seems to be in order of a larger reset. One thing's for sure, with gold and silver tearing, it's signaling that something huge is going down. And when you look at the odds here, the ratio between gold and silver, if you were to shrink the volume down a little bit more from where it's at now, let's say down to 35-1, gold to silver ratio, that would put silver itself closer to $131 an ounce. They foresee silver easily clipping $200 by the end of 2027, if not way higher. That's a double your money right there in a year's time. But the repercussions, as we can see and we know, are going to be economic woes. Remember, you have Trump that was brought in, he's on record saying that he was brought here to bring about a reset. The whole Mar-a-Lago Accord is designed for that. He has a new guy he's going to put in for the Fed in May. All that's going to go into motion. So anything from here on out is going to be heavily tied into that. And as long as he's using tariffs as a weapon out here, this sets up like a trade war type of atmosphere and potential real war when he's threatening to use the military on places like Greenland. So the market's really feeling it. You can see here. I'll leave links below. Make your moves while you can. Join me for the live streams going live Monday, Wednesday, and
Trump,
Friday.
As Dabu said, he came in to usher in the Great Reset pretty much. And every move that he made last year, all right, he made headlines when he passed through the Big Beautiful Bill, also the Genius Act. These things were set up because eventually these devils knew that, okay, we got to pass through the Genius Act. We got to do the Big Beautiful Bill because eventually, we're going to crash this system, and we need to have something in place in law. All right, when you read Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, it says that the wicked, reasoning within themselves to, basically to make our strength the law of justice. All right, so they put these things into law so they can justify themselves in their wickedness. So once they collapse this system, they already have legislation on the books set up and ready to go to replace what's about to be lost. You see? And guess what? The average American, the average Babylonian, they have no part in this new system. You ain't going to have no rights. You're not going to own nothing. As your boy Klaus Schwab said, you shall own nothing and you will be happy. So that's the plan these devils have for the average American out here. All right, and this is why we tell you, Jakes, that look, the scriptures tell you that this is not our rest. All right, we have no continuing city here. But for these heathen, for these Edomites, they all about to lose, And any Jake that have some type of stake in this world, in this society, you about to lose it all, man. All right, that's why the scriptures tell you to use the world as not abusing it, because this world is going to pass away. So we here, all right, we on the cusp of this thing going down, and It's about to get real bad out here, man. All right. I want to get this video as well. Right. Japan's bond market collapse. Right. This is from 7 hours ago. Global market chaos. De-dollarization heats up. Crisis brewing. Yeah, crisis is brewing. You know. Read says the Japanese bond market seems to be completely imploding, with rates skyrocketing over 30 basis points today alone. And that's huge, man. All right, for the rates to jump 30 basis points in one day tells you that there's a problem, all right? The risk of bond market contagion is soaring. We're seeing concerning moves in the treasury market. The dollar is dumping and stocks are selling off. You see? So, yo, this thing about to go down, man. Call y'all Bashman Shai. Let's play this.
For 30 basis points today alone, the risk of bond market contagion is soaring. We're seeing concerning moves in the U.S. Treasury market. The dollar is dumping and stocks all around the world are selling off. Let's dive into the market chaos. So there is a lot going on. No other word to describe what's going on in Japan than a full-blown meltdown. The 30-year JGB yield is up by more than 30 basis points today alone. We're going to start with Japan, but arguably way more important is what's going on here in the U.S. with the dollar, potential global monetary reordering that I've been talking about. We'll look at that. Arguably, what is going on in the U.S. is much more important than what is going on in Japan, but everyone's talking about Japan, so let's take a look at that. This is dragging U.S. Treasury rates higher. Some significant moves in the U.S. Treasury market we'll take a look at towards the end. But to start with Japan, we're going to see long-end rates moving much higher very, very quickly at a much faster rate than short-term rates. This is known as a yield curve steepening, where the gap between long rates and short rates is growing wider. Now, it's called a bear steepener because remember that the yield is inverse to the value of the bond. So when you see yields going vertical, the other way of saying that is the bond.
You always wondered why that app didn't exist. Now you can make it. Meet Replit
is just getting dumped to oblivion. Now, the blue line shows that difference, that spread between long-end rates and short-term rates. And we can see just a couple days ago, it was 227 basis points. Well, it is at 270 basis points. So we are seeing a brutal bear steepener going on in Japan. And again, the move is concentrated at the long end of the yield curve. Now, here's the nuance that very few will actually tell you. Despite the dramatic moves going on in Japan, arguably, there's way more of a risk for the U.S. and for the U.S. Treasury market than there is for Japan. Let's take a look why. So if you look at the issuance schedule by tenor, by duration, the vast majority of their debt is being issued in short-term instruments under 5 years and under. So the notes and the bill section. Well, those rates are moving higher, as we can see here, the 5-year, for example, moving higher, but at a much slower pace than the long end rates. Well, the long end gets very, very little issuance, much like, of course, in the U.S. So when you have the long end going up by 30 basis points in a single day, if you're not issuing your debt there, doesn't necessarily matter all that much. Now, there is some nuance, of course. Insurance companies do hold a lot of this debt. And again, when rates are moving higher, the value of the bond is moving lower. The collateral value is moving lower. This is what blew up the regional banks here in 2023. 3 of the 4 largest bank failures in U.S. history occurred in the past 5 years in 2023. This is what did it. Long end rates, the banks had loaded up at 50 basis points, 1% interest rates, and then we jacked up interest rates and the value of those bonds fell. There was a run on deposit.
Pretty much has already collapsed, all right? The only reason why you can still buy things now is because this society is still up and running currently, all right? But once they really pull the plug on this system, man, everything is done, okay? The dollar, and see, this is why these nations are dumping the dollar, because they don't want to hold it no more. It does not benefit these nations to hold the U.S. dollar. They're not benefiting from it, man, because now these other nations, they're trading in local currencies. They're trading in digital currencies, you see? So the dollar, especially the petrodollar, is now becoming obsolete. And with all these war tensions that's going on, you know, these nations are not seeing the value of holding the U.S. dollar. They're just not, all right? So this is going to be, this is going to adversely affect the West, Okay, especially America, Babylon the Great. And we're gonna see hyperinflation very, very soon. Okay, this thing is deadly serious, man. Hyperinflation is coming very soon. America, people gonna be using a dollar bills to wipe their ass with it, man. All right, because that's how worthless. Like, why you think they stopped printing pennies? Not printing pennies, but minting. All right, they stopped minting pennies, man. Why? Because the penny has no value. Nobody uses pennies no more. So they about to do away with all this money, all this fiat currency, and replace it with what? Stable coins, digital IDs, okay, biometrics, and say this is the new wave that's coming in. All right, and furthermore, again, that's why these nations, they're buying up hard, tangible, valuable assets such as gold, silver, copper, and other precious metals. That's why Trump now wants to go into Greenland and take that over from Denmark because of the precious metals that are there that they can use for war and all these other things. All right, so real money has never been the U.S. dollar. It has always been gold and silver. Okay, you read all throughout the scriptures, real money has always been gold and silver, man. So the same thing is true today. Now, let's get a scripture, all right? Because these markets, all right, are crashing, man. When you get, I believe that's what? Yeah, Zephaniah 1 and 11. Let's get the whole chapter. All right, Zephaniah 1 and 11. It's like not 1 and 11. Let's start up. Let's start at Zephaniah 1 and 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. All right. So the stock market is about to crash. Okay, a lot of people about to be howling and mourning. Okay. Verse 11. How ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. And when you go into Maktesh, that was pretty much the ancient stock trade of the ancient world, like the Phoenician Quarter, outside of Jerusalem. Okay, that's where all the business took place, all the trading and stuff was going on. It says, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. All right. So there's going to be a great howling. All right. A great crash from the fish gate, man. So all the merchants are going to take a hit. These businesses are closing down shop because they're not making a profit. And it's not profitable to invest, because keep in mind that these corporations, they're invested into the stocks. So if the stocks are tanking, their profits are also tanking. All right. So the scripture is saying to how, okay, the morning is coming. Let's get that in the NLT. Zephaniah 1 and 10 in the NLT. On that day, says the Lord, a cry of alarm will come from the fish gate and echo throughout the new quarter of the city, and a great crash will sound from the hills. Wail in sorrow, all you who live in the market area, for all the merchants and traders will be destroyed. That's what's going to happen. Okay, if you got a business within America, especially if you're a large corporation, all of this is about to go. Okay, which means that jobs are also about to go, man. And they already got AI. Okay, they got robots to replace your ass. So we coming into this new reality, this new world, and this is gonna catch people off guard like a snare. Okay, because people don't even know that this is going on right now. People have no idea that the world stock trade is crashing right now. You know what I'm saying? People just going about living their normal life, thinking what they're going to do for their summer vacation and, what they're going to plan for next year. Not even knowing that this place is about to be on fire, okay? In more ways than one. You see? Let's get, let's go 2nd Ezra 16, okay? 2nd Ezra 16. In verse 17, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a moment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And these scourges, man, these things are already here. But what? People are not mindful. People are not taking heed to the warning that's being given out. Okay, only a few. Verse 21, behold, victuals, okay, which goes into, food, provisions, right, shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. These are times we're coming into, to where wars are jumping off. Famine is also being prepared, because look, once these stocks crash and they pull the plug, it ain't gonna be no food out here. All the food, listen, everything is gonna stop. The truck is gonna stop moving. The farms is gonna shut down. All these meat processing plants, like food processing plants that you get, all that's about to be shut down, man. So that famine is gonna come in an instant, all of a sudden. You see? Verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. You see? So these are the days that we coming into, man. All right? People not going to give a damn. You're saying, like, we're in a time where it's going to be survival of the fittest, dog eat dog. All right? When you give 2nd Ezra 15, because I mentioned earlier that the National Guard, that's why they out here, because sedition is coming, wars in the streets are coming, all right? Food riots, okay, just all kind of madness and chaos. 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. F the president, F the mayor, okay, F the governor, y'all ain't doing nothing for us. And what? And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, now it's time for us to take matters into our own hands to do what we need to do. Okay, forget the law, all right? Because these people, they don't give a damn about us anyway, so we might as well just crash out. Okay, that's the mindset that people are in right now. You see? Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because once all this chaos jumps off, it's going to be like the purge out here. So once these, all this madness jumps off, these cities are going to be shut down. It's going to be checkpoints. You see? Air travel is going to be non-existent. These devils are about to come down hard, man. All right? And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai Shai, okay, we've been warning, all right, that these days are coming, and hey, we're here. You see? 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity. So we coming into a time where it's going to be no mercy, man. Okay? If you got something that the next person want, they going to come and take it from you, man. And guess what? They going to die trying. Okay? Because guess what? It ain't going to be no 911. It ain't going to be no ambulance. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be no police out here to come save people, man. You're going to be on your own. So if you ain't got the grace and protection of Yahweh Shai Shai, then, hey, you cook. You're going to perish, man. You're going to perish in these wars. You're going to perish in the famine. You see? And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, famine, and for great tribulation, man. That's what's coming on the earth. Great tribulation. You see? So this is what the Lord is preparing, man. And you see people are buying up this gold and silver because they think that that's going to be their saving grace. But let's see what the scriptures say. Ezekiel, the 7th chapter. In verse 5, we'll start here. Ezekiel 75 in the NLT. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Disaster after disaster is coming your way. The end has come. It has finally arrived. All right. And it says in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, that the vision is for an appointed time. And we're in the time now where these things are coming forth to be fulfilled. Read that again from the top, Ezekiel 7:6. The end has come. It has finally arrived. Your final doom is waiting. All right. Now, when you go down to verse, this the NLT, so it's worded different. I believe it's 13 though. Yeah, here we go. Second, it's like Ezekiel 7:11. Their violence has grown into a rod that will beat them for their wickedness. None of these proud and wicked people will survive. All their wealth and prestige will be swept away. You see that? The scriptures say that all their wealth and prestige will be swept away. Yapa. Okay? And that's what's going to happen to the proud inhabitants of Babylon the Great. Those that live high on the hog right now, okay, they was out there, they was out here having a way, just living large, you know what I'm saying, just doing what they wanted to do. The Lord about to bring their ass down to the ground. Okay, because this is the time that the Lord is about to address the wickedness of these people, man. All right, and guess what? The thing that they love the most, that they find comfort in, their wealth and their prestige in this world, the Lord about to take it away from their ass, man. Verse 12, yes, the time has come, the day is here. Buyers should not rejoice over bargains, nor sellers grieve over losses, for all of them will fall under my terrible anger. Even if the merchants survive, they will never return to their business. For what Yahweh has said applies to everyone, it will not be changed. Not one person whose life is twisted by sin will ever recover. You see? So, look, this is where we at. Okay, judgment, man. All the proud are about to be brought down low. You see? Let's go to the KJV real quick. Yeah, Ezekiel 7 and 17. Okay. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. You see that? So people's silver and their gold, it's not going to save them from the judgment of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, man. You see? So money not going to save you. The sword not going to save you. Food ain't going to save you. Okay, the only thing that's going to get you through these times is your faith in Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. You see, but unfortunately, 2/3 of our people, they're going to have to find that out the hard way, man. Okay, because guess what? The carnal, they're going to trust in their earthly possessions to save them and give them a hedge against what's coming. But see, that's only going to get you but so far. Yeah, you may be able to hold out for a little bit because you're a prepper and you've hoarded, years worth of food and supplies unto yourself. But guess what? The scriptures say that if it ain't a famine that take you out, that it's going to be the sword. You see? And furthermore, it's foolish to even trust in food and supplies and weapons to save you, because what if the event comes where you can't even get to that stuff, man? All right? Or if you got to get up out of there. You got years worth of food set up in the house, you know what I'm saying? Like you think you're going to bug in, and then the Lord is send, a pack of, 20 savages, you know what I'm saying, over to your house and burn it down, man. And guess what? All that shit is gone. Okay, all of it was vanity, man. You see? So this was getting ready to be happening out here on a large scale. Okay, evil and only evil is coming on this earth, man. See what I'm saying? So these markets getting ready to go down, and it's about to be a lot of mourning and sorrow and crying out here, man. You know what I'm saying? But hey, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, Lord will, we be kept from these things, and we be given the spirit to stand firm in the face of adversity. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kedash, called Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, by Shem Rakah Kedash. And until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect. Kum Yashala, wa Bible Ball.